Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear class. Hope all of you are fine. Today I am going to discuss the following topics in lecture. Number 1, branches of toxicology. Number 2, classification of poisons. And number 3, action of poisons. Among these you will not find first one, that is branches of toxicology, in Parekh, your prescribed book that I have got from other sources. And other two topics, classification of poisons and action of poisons, you will find in the chapter 36 of the book. Now, regarding branches of toxicology, in last lecture I talked about how toxicology was developed from parent sciences such as biology, botany, biochemistry, pharmacology, physiology and zoology. Afterwards, due to its rapid advancement, toxicology has spread out into further branches named forensic toxicology, clinical toxicology, environmental toxicology, occupational toxicology and veterinary toxicology. So they are 5 in number. I repeat again: forensic toxicology, clinical toxicology, environmental toxicology, occupational toxicology and veterinary toxicology. So going to describe them one by one. So number 1 is forensic toxicology. It's the branch of toxicology which deals with medico-legal aspects of toxic effects of drugs, chemicals or poisons on humans. Now, how we study or how we take up this forensic toxicology? As I told you, it deals with medico-legal aspects of toxic effects of poisons, plus combining analytical chemistry with toxicological principles. So there are 3 things in this slide which are important to know: medico-legal aspects, toxic effects of poisons, analytical chemistry and toxicological principles. So these will be come under discussion again and again, and you will come to know when we will discuss these things in detail. Next branch is now its role of forensic toxicology is to aid in establishing cause, effect relationship between exposure to a poison, which may be a drug or chemical, and its toxic effects. So there is a relationship between exposure to a poison and then its effect. So that means how a person comes in contact with a poison, how intake of a poison takes place, and how the harmful effects or signs symptoms are produced in the body. So to confirm this relationship of cause and effect, there are highly sensitive analytical methods to detect toxic compounds in biological tissues and fluids such as liver, kidney, blood and other tissues. That was about forensic toxicology. Next is clinical toxicology. As its name suggests, the clinical toxicology deals with specific diseases caused by toxic substances or poisons and their treatment. It includes study of chemicals from all sources and is concerned with all aspects of interaction between chemicals and people. So there are two important things in clinical toxicology. Number one, the effects, the harmful effects, signs and symptoms. When you will study special toxicology, individual poisons, there you will see a heading that what signs and symptoms are produced by a specific poison, and also there you will study a heading which will tell you about the treatment of those signs and symptoms, how to treat them. So this forms clinical toxicology. Third branch of toxicology is environmental toxicology. It's a broad discipline of toxicology which includes the study of chemicals that are contaminants of food, water, soil, or atmosphere. For example, food additives in commercially prepared food products, pollutants in air like carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons, pollutants in water that include waterborne viruses and bacteria, sewage, and industrial pollutants. So these are harmful substances or things or chemicals which are found in environment, in food, water, and air. Their study and their management is included in environmental toxicology. Next is occupational toxicology. It's also called industrial toxicology. It is created to protect industrial workers from poisonous substances produced as products or byproducts of industry, and to make their working environment safe. So there are two things in this. Number one is the aim is to save or to protect the health of industrial workers and to make the environment safe. The person qualified for this job is called industrial toxicologist. Now that industrial toxicologist is a person who will protect those industrial workers. Now what is his role? His role is to determine safe or permissible levels of exposure to chemicals, that is dust, fumes and other particles, by the industrial workers. So this branch of toxicology is called occupational toxicology. And fifth and last one is veterinary toxicology. As the name suggests, it is the study of specific diseases by toxic substances or poisons in animals. So that was a brief discussion on branches of toxicology. Next topic is classification of poisons. Now there are quite a few classifications. So at least 4 types of classifications I am going to tell you now, but 2 of them are very important. So number 1 is we can classify poisons based on availability or use. Number 2, on medico-legal basis. Number 3, by mode of action of poisons. And number 4, a special type of classification by Keith Simpsons, which is not given in Parekh, so I have taken it from other sources for you, as an SEQ has been asked about it. So, number 1 classification is based on use or availability of poisons. So, on this basis, we can divide poisons into industrial, agricultural, iatrogenic, and laboratory. So, as their name suggests, this is based on their use. Now, number 2 is medico-legal, based on medico-legal aspects. It means the manner of poisoning or act of poisoning which involves the intention of a person who is using it. So this involves law and courts. So on this basis we can divide poisons into homicidal, suicidal, accidental, and stupefying. You are aware of these terms if you recall your previous lecture, so you can consult there what these terms mean. Classification number 3 is based on mode of action of poisons, and it is the most important for you for examination point of view. So on this basis they are divided into 6 groups: corrosives, irritants, neurotoxic or neurotic, cardiac, asphyxiants, and pharmacological. And number 4 is also based on mode of action of poisons, but it is by another person called Keith Simpsons. So now we take up the classification number 3, which is given in the Parekh, and it divides poisons into 6 groups. So number 1 group is corrosives. Corrosion means damage. So the corrosives cause extensive damage, and they are also highly irritant. That means they cause high irritation, and they produce inflammation and ulceration of tissues. This group consists of strong acids and alkalis. So strong acids are divided into mineral acids, organic acids, and vegetable acids. Examples of mineral acids are sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and hydrochloric acid. Organic acids include oxalic acid, carbolic acid, and acetic acid. Vegetable acids include hydrocyanic acid. Now, strong alkalis include caustic soda, caustic potash, and carbonates of ammonium, sodium, and potassium. Second group is of that of irritants or irritant poisons. They cause irritation of the tissues of the body. They produce symptoms and signs like pain, vomiting, and diarrhea. They cause redness, ulceration of GIT. So this group is again divided into 3 subgroups: inorganic irritants, organic irritants, and mechanical irritants. The inorganic irritants are divided into non-metallic, such as phosphorus, iodine, chlorine, and bromine, and metallic poisons, that is arsenic, mercury, lead, copper, iron, and thallium. Now, the organic irritants may be of vegetable origin, that is, castor oil, seeds, croton oil seeds, apprus, and capsicum, and few others. The animal organic irritants are snakes, scorpion, and other poisonous insects. The third is mechanical irritants. Examples are powdered glass and diamond dust. Third group of poisons is neurotic or neurotoxic poisons. As their name suggests, they act mainly on nervous system. The general symptoms produced by them are headache, drowsiness, giddiness, delirium, convulsions, paralysis, stupor, and coma. They have specific. They they are divided into three based on their action, like specific action on cerebrum, spinal cord, and peripheral nerves. So those which act on cerebrum are called cerebral poisons, which are further divided into somniferous, that is opium or morphine, inebriants, that is alcohol, and deliriants, that is cannabis indica and dhatura. Next, second group is spinal poisons such as nux vomica or strychnine, and the third one are peripheral poisons which act on peripheral nerves, for example curare. The fourth group of poisons are the cardiac poisons, that means they act on heart and cardiovascular system. Examples are nicotine or tobacco, aconite, and digitalis. The fifth group is asphyxiants, or those poisons which act on lungs or respiratory system. Examples are carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide and war gases. Sixth and last group is miscellaneous or pharmacological poisons, for example analgesics, depressants, and stimulants, and other groups of drugs. That was about classification based on mode of action. Now coming to Keith-Simpson's classification, it is also based on mode of action, but it is not given in Parekh, and Keith-Simpson has divided it into 7 groups. So first their names: corrosives, number 1, number 2 irritants. So these two names are the same as in the previous. Third is hypnotic or narcotic. Fourth is deliriant and convulsant. Fifth group is paralytic and anticholinesterases. Sixth group is abortifacient, and seventh is irrespirable gases and vapors. So you know the examples of group 1 corrosives. You already know strong acids and alkalis. About irritants, you know inorganic, organic, and mechanical, and inorganic again into non-metallic and metallic, and organic into vegetable and animal. And number third is hypnotic or narcotic group. So they cause sleep. So examples are barbiturates, opium or morphine, and chloral hydrate. And number 4 is deliriants and convulsants. Examples are cocaine, nux vomica or strychnine, and aconite. Fifth group is paralytic and anticholinesterases. Examples are nicotine and curare. Sixth group are abortifacient. Those poisons or drugs which cause abortion, usually to induce criminal abortion. So few examples are ergot, quinine, and some hormones. Seventh group is of irrespirable gases or vapors. Examples are carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, and hydrocyanic acid gas. So this was about Keith Simpson's classification. It's some of it is similar to previous classification and some is different. But you have to remember both so that in exam if you get any one of these you can write it. Third and last topic today is action of poisons. The action means how a poison acts on a body part which comes in contact, and so it can be, the action of poison can be divided into 5 headings like local action, number 2 remote action, number 3 local and remote action, number 4 general action, and number 5 delayed action. So what is local action? It's direct action of a poison on a part of a body of user or victim which come in contacts. Corrosive, for example, corrosives cause corrosion, congestion and inflammation in GIT. This is example of local action. They produce gross visible changes visible under naked eye. Number 2 is remote action. It's due to absorption of poison into systems or organs. It may be specific, where a poison has special affinity for an organ. That is, opium or opioids have special affinity for brain. Similarly, it can be non-specific, like shock produced by corrosives. Now, coming to last slide, the third type of action is local and remote combined. So this is seen in organic acids such as oxalic and carbolic acid, where they are corrosives and they act locally as well as they act after absorption too. Then number 4 is general action. It happens when poison is absorbed and affects a number of tissues. For example, metallic poisons like lead and arsenic, they involve multiple tissues from head to toe and they cause damage. Fifth type of action is delayed action. It is sometimes times after intake of a poison due to development of complications which may take some time. Example is stricture of esophagus in corrosive poisoning. As you know, corrosives generally cause local effect action, but this stricture formation due to corrosive poisoning is example of delayed action. With that, I conclude my lecture today. Answer the following question and send your answers till 2:30 p.m. today for attendance in Forensic e-learning group. Question is describe briefly the occupational toxicology. Thank you.